I might not know a thing or two, but I told you guys this shit would be worth it. Is it worth it or not? It's worth it. Yeah. I am so proud of this group of people. It is amazing. Okay? Everybody in the building, in the football operations building, is getting a game ball. Come on, sir. Okay? Yeah. Because it is so easy to blink in a 5-game losing streak, especially when you guys put it all on the line. Skyler. How about my man Jason? You guys know what you're fighting for, okay? You really do. It was evident, and it was any way possible. 14,533 days have been on the earth. This is one of those that sticks out above all else. I thank you guys. We will have a victory Monday. I got one last game ball, okay, to the ultimate captain, okay, because you guys don't get to talk to him all the time. I get to, and the dude didn't blink. He loves this team. He loves you guys, okay? Game ball, breakdown, Mr. Ross, get up in here.
Dolphins on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this Monday evening. Had a big one yesterday. Got the win into the playoffs. Did anybody else find it just a wee bit odd that Stephen Ross was in the locker room and Dan Marino were in the locker room? So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that none of us know about. None of us are gonna know about it. Not gonna speculate. As always, there's going to be people who form their opinion and disagree and everything else, and I'm just going to lay out some fact today. So the title of this video is he or isn't he? Is Tua playing on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills? So there was an interesting exchange today that many of you may have seen. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to play it for you, and we're going to digest it and dissect it and react to it and talk about it, get some comments from it. It was today's press conference with Mike McDaniel. But before I do that, let me just, before I forget, this was the video I posted last night, and this was Tua basically out there. I turned the volume down, greeting his team after the game, looking happy, looking fit, hanging out, no more hiding, no more not being seen. For whatever reason, he couldn't walk out on the field, but at least he was there. And I know some people think that the NFL says you can't, but that's all BS as well. So for whatever reason, it was good enough just to see that Tua was indeed at the game and was celebrating with his teammates. So we got that out of the way. So we know that, he was there. So if you saw the press conference today, and I'm going to play it right now, and we're going to go through it. I'm not going to waste your time, not going to waste my time. I want to jump right into things before I get to it, because this all dovetails. You have to follow along succinctly. Don't listen to the BS on Twitter. Don't listen to the BS from other YouTubers unless they can show you specifically what I'm about to show you right now. I'm going to go through something that I went through, a couple days ago. A lot of people freaked out. Barry, you're making stuff up. You're talking bad about Tua. You've turned your back on him. No, I have not turned my back on Tua. Grow up. No, I went through a whole thing yesterday. Just because you have a disagreement with someone doesn't mean you're turning your back on them. Just remember that. So let's take a look at something, and then it's going to make more sense to you as you listen to today's press conference. So let's talk about this. I hope you can see it. It's an article discussing the concussion protocol and how it works. It is very important that you put your arms around this, block out all the noise. This is from the NFL, and just listen. Don't worry about what you heard. Don't worry about what you think. Listen to fact here. All right. So in order to get back on the field, you have to go through the concussion protocol. First step, symptom-limited activity. In this phase, players are asked not to engage in much activity. They're supposed to rest during this period and limit anything that could aggravate their symptoms. Okay, that's step one. Step two is aerobic exercises. Players will start to work on cardio, treadmill, running, along with stretching and training with the medical staff supervising the player. And after this phase, players can start work on balance testing and some other things. That's stage two. Now to go to stage three. In the third stage, players can take part in football-specific exercises and start working with the team for up to 30 minutes under supervision. Players are also able to increase their cardio loads. So the game was on Sunday. We know he didn't play. That's a fact. Today is Monday. They didn't have practice. We know that he didn't practice. That's a fact. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and I'm probably sure they're not really going to hit the field until Wednesday. So we won't know what stage he's in until you follow along and see. So there's been no practice. So the best we can hope for at this point today, that he's in stage two. Everybody agree on that? He could be still in one. He could be in two. He's definitely not in three. 3, 4, and 5 can move really quickly. Number 4 being club-based non-contact training drills. You're out there with the red shirt and you're throwing. And then, of course, number 5 is full activity clearance, which doesn't really have anything to do with practicing. You go basically 4 to 5 really, really quick. Number 4, again, you're out there practicing non-contact, which none of the quarterbacks are in contact situations anyway. They're in the red jersey. So you're throwing around, you're throwing balls to Tyreek, you're throwing balls to Waddle. You're okay. They can continue to ramp up their exercise and training. By the end of this phase, players have to have gone neurocognitive and balance testing. So once you get to 4, and then 5 being the next step, there's not too much of a bridge. Once they clear you to get into 4, you're pretty much going to go to 5 real quick because there's nothing else. And in stage 5, the players have to be cleared by both the club physician and an independent neurological consultant to return to full activity. That's it. Start throwing. How do you feel? Good. Okay, we're going to clear you. You can play. What I'm having a problem with is that so many people don't even want to listen to the medical experts. So many people, especially on Twitter, oh, he shouldn't play. Why shouldn't he play? Well, if he gets hurt again, well, I could step in front of a bus and get run over. I'm still going to drive. If you're trusting the medical profession and the medical experts that he's working with, if you're trusting them and they say he's okay, I'm sorry to be the one to inform you that your opinion means this. He's not risking himself. Oh my God, he might get hurt again. These guys are cranium doctors. They've gone to school. They've worked on him. They've examined him. They've had 2 weeks, 15, 16 days of working with Tua. They know where he is. You do not know where he is. I do not know where he is. People on Twitter don't know where he is. People on ESPN don't know where he is. Only that group of people that are working with him right now know where he is. Everything else is conjecture. However, given what Mike McDaniel said today, and there was some inquisitive reporting, I think it was by Barry Jackson, my namesake. Barry was in there, and he asked a couple of questions. I have to give him credit. What a smart reporter. He knows that Mike McDaniel can't say he's in 2, 3, 4, 5. But when you listen to how he asked the questions, I'm going to bring you back here so you can see for yourself where he is. Where is he? He's on 2, 1, 2, 3. Where is he? Because the answers to the questions in this press conference are going to tell you. You're going to be able to hear where Tua is if you listen. Okay, so I'm going to start playing this. I hope I don't get an echo because I got to hear it as well. Let's go ahead and play it.
And as far as Tua goes, has he reached the point yet where he can do non-contact practice stuff such as throwing? Has he been cleared for that level?
All right. So the question was, has Tua reached the part in the protocol where he can do non-contact practice? Barry Jackson is leading Mike McDaniel right here because he knows the answer to this question is going to give him an idea as to where Tua is without actually saying it. So listen to the answer here.
So has not been cleared for that level yet. I'm hoping to, with all three active roster quarterbacks, they all have injury-related concerns. I'm hoping to have some clarity on Wednesday.
All right. So what Barry Jackson just did there, he jumped ahead all the way to number 4. He said, has he been cleared for football-specific exercise? See it? He actually used those words, non-contact training drills. Is he there yet? And Mike McDaniel said, no, he's not there yet. So at that point, Barry continues. And Barry wants to know, okay, so if that's not where he is, let me ask the follow-up question.
But as of right now, it's literally the same, if not more vague than when I just saw you guys last. Saw most of you guys last.
Is he even at the level, and this is stage 3 protocol, but is he even at the level where he can do aerobic exercises?
Okay, do you see how he's trapping him? And I'm sure Mike McDaniel understood what he's doing. So he's now going back to the list. He's like, okay, so he can't do football exercises. Is he even at the position where he's doing aerobics exercises? He didn't say protocol. He didn't say step 1, step 2, step 3. He's asking him questions, leading him down the protocol steps. So you guys understand it. Understand he said, boom, is he cleared for football non-contact drills? Now, next step down the ladder, is he doing aerobic exercises? Listen to the answer that Mike McDaniel gives him right here. It gives you some insight. I hope you understand it. It can be kind of convoluted, but I'm trying to break it down for you as simple as possible. So let's go ahead and, okay, cut.
I don't know exactly what goes on. I do know there's, I've seen him post whatever that time's called, and he's sweating. I know there's so.
You notice the tap dance there. Mike McDaniel knows, probably feels, hey man, I've got to start telling the public something. This you're watching a show. One of the guys who got pissed at me last week for what I said about Tua and not being a leader, and I said to him, you know, I quoted the words of Geddy Lee. I said, we are all performers and portrayers, each another audience on this gilded stage. This you're watching an artwork here. You're watching performance art at its best. Each another's audience. I can't say by NFL rules that he's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm sure they talked about it. But you can ask me questions along the way. So Barry asked him, hey, is he, doing any aerobic exercise? Mike can't answer that specifically because it gives away the step. But what's he say? Oh, I see him, and he's sweating profusely. He's doing something in that room, and when he comes out, he's just sweating. Well, can you infer what he's saying there? They've got him on a treadmill. Got him on a treadmill so far.
2 and 2 together. I try to stay in my level of expertise because, again, the primary concern is that we lean on medical professionals for these medical opinions.
Gene Kelly couldn't have danced better. For those of you who are too young to understand who Gene Kelly is, go on TCM and look up the movie Singing in the Rain. But we extracted some information for the first time in 15 days that we now have a decent idea, unless Mike's lying, we have a decent idea where Tua is in the protocol. Again, you can go here and look. Barry backed him up. Number 5, is he cleared for non-contact drills? Nope, not yet. Can he do football-specific exercise like throwing? Nope, not yet. Is he doing any aerobic activity? What's Mike say? Mike says, well, he's in a room somewhere, And if you've ever seen a training facility on Hard Knocks, you understand what they mean. He's in there with the trainers. And when I see him, I don't know what they're doing in there, but when he comes out, he's all sweaty. So he's basically confirming he's doing aerobic activity. You don't have to go back down to number 1 because we now have an answer. He's at stage 2. Right now, you can see it. Actually, he's at, stage 2. He's at aerobic exercise. He's actually working out on a treadmill, stationary bike, elliptical thing, whatever. He's getting his wind up. He's getting his cardiovascular working. He's doing those kind of things when then Mike sees him and he comes out the room and everything. And when he comes out, he's like, man, I'm sweating. Look, Mike, I'm sweating. But I can't tell you what stage I'm in. So anybody with half a brain can go back. We can basically go in at this point. I got phones ringing, people dinging me. Can look at this and see players will start. I hope you can see it. I'll have to blow it up. Players will start to work on cardio exercises along with stretching and training with team medical staff supervising. After this phase, players can start work on balance testing. He's working out. I hope you guys can all see that he's working out. He's not just sitting back sleeping anymore. Stage 1 was, hey, you got to get some rest. You got to get rest. And Mike just confirmed to you, if you listen between the lines and watch the play that's developing in front of us, he's working out aerobically. Let's go ahead and continue and finish off this interview before I come back, because there's something else he says here. All right, you ready?
And I don't want to influence by over asking or trying to micromanage what the process is. When he's ready to, when he's medically cleared to practice, he'll practice. Until then, I'm not doing anything.
So he's not going to say anything. And a couple times during that interview, he kept telling people, I'll have more clarity on Wednesday. I'll have more clarity on Wednesday. Today is Monday. Wednesday is the first day, I believe, that they put out the injury report. If it goes from did not practice to limited practice or whatever, but today is Monday. You got 2 days to go. And let's see how fast he can progress through these steps. Now, the good thing about it, and some of you guys may have a problem with it, are you telling me in 16 days, he's only gotten to the point where he can do some aerobic exercise? He's in there doing some jazzercise or whatever. I mean, I could use some aerobic activity. Bet you could as well. Is that where he is? That's as far as he's gotten? That's as far as he's gotten. Why? We're not going to know. Nobody is going to tell us why it took Tua this long to get to basically stage 2. Don't know. Maybe he was hurt worse than we thought. Whatever that reason was, don't even speculate. Only go with the facts. The facts being right now that Tua is in step 2. Players, let me see if I can blow it up in case you can't see it. Okay, now it's blowed up. Players will start to work on cardio exercises along with stretching and training with team medical staff supervising after this phase. So he's working out aerobically, doing his cardio, getting the heart rate back up, doing all that kind of stuff. That has now been confirmed. You don't have to look on Twitter. You don't have to worry about what's going on anymore. Even myself, who wondered, I just got some answers. I knew what to look for. Thank God one of the reporters at the press conference knew which questions to ask. So now, come Wednesday, this is what we're going to be looking for. We're going to be looking for this stage in the protocol. Can he begin going out and throwing some passes for 30 minutes at a time? If he can do that, then like I said, 4 and 5 are basically, 5 is not a stage. Just so you can see here, 5 is just somebody signing off. So let's not worry about 5. That'll take care of itself. What we want to get him to is stage 4. And if he gets to 3, then the next, you can do this in 24 hours. Providing there's no complications, you can go from 3 to 4 to 5 in 24 to 48 hours. You can see there's no friction there. I hope you can see that. I mean, you can read it yourself. You can go from cardio to throwing to non-contact to approval very quickly. So that just leaves you with wondering, and I know some people say to themselves, that's all fair and well. That sounds nice, Barry, but he shouldn't play. He shouldn't play. And that's just your manic mind. He's got the best medical personnel working with him in all of the world, basically. Your mind is telling you, oh, he can't play, he shouldn't play, it's dangerous, and everyone on Twitter saying he could die. You're not a doctor, and you haven't examined him if you are a doctor. He's been in stage 1 for 15 days, maybe stage 2. We don't know when he started the aerobic activity, but he emerged in the tunnel yesterday, and today, Mike McDaniel at 4:30 said he saw him sweaty. So don't infer anything from what other idiots are out there saying to you when you have exact knowledge, and you can see that for some reason today, Mike McDaniel decided to give some information. We've all been sitting back, including myself, going, what the hell is wrong? You're not telling us something. Something's wrong. And then all of a sudden today, we start to find out where he is. So with that, let me take some comments, because I've got some further stuff to go here. William Samper says it's up to Tua. Absolutely, it's up to Tua and his doctors to determine how he wants to go forward. Let's see here. Stewart says football is a brutal sport. Each hit can be like being in a car accident. Somebody said that today too. Forget, may have been Rich Eisen. Somebody said no. I know who said it. That was Stephen A. with his new podcast. He was talking about the collision impact is like the equivalent of getting in a car accident at 50 miles an hour, but you're still going to drive. I loved how he said that today. Tom Stuckles says, "Don't jump to confusions." Exactly. I hope I just laid that out where you have no room to wiggle. Right now, if you choose to think he shouldn't play, that's your paranoia, not his. If you say, oh, he can get hurt again, and you're worried about him getting hurt or he could die, that's your paranoia. You're placing that on him. His doctors have taken the time, somewhat slowly, we all agree, to just get him to stage 2 at this point. We don't know what they saw in the charts. We don't know how Tua is feeling, but at least now we know he's at least on stage 2. Disney 911 says, I'd love for Tua to play, but I will support Tua if he decides against it. His health is most important. So let me allay that fear. Let's put that fear away. If Tua wasn't going to play, he wouldn't be at the facility training with the doctors. You understand that? You don't go and get your driver's license if you don't decide you're going to drive. You don't put on the thing, you know what you put on, if you're not going to have the activity that goes with the thing that you put on. If you understand my drift. He's training. He's running. Getting stronger. Maybe eating raw eggs. I don't know, but he's training. If he had said, you know what, I'm not going to do it, he wouldn't be doing that. He'd be home in Hawaii. Actually, he lives here, but he'd be back in Hawaii with his family and kicking up in a hammock someplace. So stop trying to get stuff in his mind. He's training. He's trying to get better. Don't understand it. Yeah, exactly. Robert Thomas, where is that? If Tua didn't want to play, he would have informed the coach. They would have put him on IR. Thank you. Have some reason. Stop with the paranoia and the manic insanity that you see on Twitter and in these comments sometimes. You got to trust that he knows best what his health status is and the risks associated with it. His wife knows. His mom, his dad, they all know. We don't. But we do know he's training to get better. And Mike McDaniel did not say, the word didn't come out today, he's not playing. He didn't say it. Challenge you to find it. Did not say it. He goes, not going to talk about it. Not going to talk about it until you get the green light or the red light. But right now, he's progressing. That's what you have to understand. DJ Swagger, he's training his brain. He's training the brain. Yeah, he is basically. Rodney J, where'd that go? Wow, this thing's move so fast. Rodney J, good thing. Tua will play if he can, and we'll be better at QB, a lot better. Yes, if he can play, who knows? He may get in some complications when he's running on a treadmill. He may be pumping some weights, might be doing some stuff there. You can simulate passing. You know, he may be on the cable doing the work like he's throwing the ball, checking out his torque in his hip. So far, so good. Ooh, hey, man, that one just made me feel dizzy. All right, sit down. We don't know. But as long as he's still sweating and waving the mic down the hall, Mike's like, hey, he comes out in the room. I see him. He's dabbing the towel. He's working out in there. That's all I can say. Yeah, Scott, it was 100% awesome seeing him in the tunnel. The team leadership award, that should shut a lot of people, but it's not. They aren't shutting up. They just, it's almost like their eyes and their ears aren't connected to their brain. They saw him get hurt and they're like, shut him down. No, he shouldn't be playing. He should retire. And I'm like, man, you got the best medical personnel in the world looking at you. By the way, talking about retire, they took the tube out of Damar Hamlin's throat. He was sitting up talking. They transferred him from Cincinnati to a hospital up in Buffalo. He was able to travel. This guy basically died on the field, and you don't see nary the kind of stuff about him that you see about Tua. If his doctors cleared him somehow miraculously to play next year, ain't nobody gonna say anything. Oh, it's so good for Damar. Oh, that's fantastic, Damar. He's so much better. But for some reason, they don't feel that way with Tua. What's up, my boy Tony? Tony says, according to the idiots Tobin and Leroy, he had 3 and probably more. I shut them off at that point. It's all conjecture. It's clickbait. They're trying to get you to watch their stuff, and they don't. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it, but if people aren't showing you the information specifically from the mouths of the head coach and breaking it down for you and showing you, here's what he said, here's how he said it. You just, and the only way you think otherwise is if you think Tua is mentally incompetent and Mike McDaniel is a stone cold liar. Those are the only 2 ways you can disavow him coming back to play. You have no other explanation. Tua is incompetent. Mike McDaniel and the organization are liars, and you're not going to believe it no matter what. And in that chance, if that's the case, go ahead and click and change the channel. And just, you're not someone who can be talked to and have reason with. Your feelings, your feelings. Your feelings are hurt. You're afraid. I can't deal with that. I can't. Too many WebMD doctors around. Absolutely. When I was bitching up a storm in the last couple of days, I was bitching up a storm because A, I wanted to see him, show your face as a captain, and 2, they weren't giving us any information whatsoever. And because I questioned that, people said, oh, you're turning your back on Tua. You know, you're not, what kind of fan are you? Well, I'm the kind of fan that wants to see this kid get better, get cleared, and play against the Buffalo Bills. What kind of fan are you if you think he should be mothballed or retire or go away? Again, you either think Tua is incompetent, you think Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer and Stephen Ross are lying to your face, and people on Twitter know what they're talking about. Oh, he shouldn't play. He should never play again. He should retire. You wake up. Wake up, please. You know what's funny? The baby crying, I've got some sound effects on here. The baby crying was when I used to do videos with a certain political leaning, and I'm just over people whining. I'm over it, and somehow people have watched the pendulum and just completely hypnotized themselves into thinking one way or another, and there's no room for any other discussion. And I think that's a problem. That's why I leave what some people say the haters in here, is because I'm hoping one day, one comment, somebody goes, okay, he's making me think. I'm being irrational here. He just made a point. He just showed me the protocol. Mike McDaniel just said he was sweating. I can put those two together and understand he's probably at stage 2, and his doctors are working to get him back on the field. Can you not let that configure in your head? Does that not just gel? Maybe it doesn't for some people. What's going on? My boy Pablo says, for those that are howling for Tua to play, what do we do with our offensive line? His concussions are caused by the lack of blocking. No, his concussions are caused by his cranium hitting the turf or grass, wherever it may be. And he's going to have to do something probably in the offseason. Nick Hicks and his boys, he's going to have to get that neck, that whole girdle a lot stronger. He's going to have to get the big Gazoo helmet. I mean, for all we know, they fitted him with a helmet and he's having a hard time looking or something. You understand, you change a player's uniform and the stuff they put on, everything from the shoulder pads to the t-shirt underneath the jersey to the shoes that he wears, and he's been playing that way for years, and now you say, hey, see this big effing helmet? This is what you have to put on now. Huh? Oh man, this is weird. This thing is, I can't see peripherally. I won't be able to see Tyreek when he's in. You don't know all the things that are going on right now to even get him back on the field, and some of them don't have to do with anything medically. They've got the Q bar that goes around your neck that helps with concussion. There's so many different things they could be doing behind the scenes right now to try and get him ready to go to Buffalo. But nobody wants to look into that stuff. God's child, love your handle. All of his injuries came after holding the ball for more than 4 seconds. He needs to make a quicker decision. You know what's funny? I had a friend of mine today. He goes, how come Tom Brady doesn't get concussions? Well, for the most part, Tom Brady doesn't get hit. I mean, you could probably count on your hands. We could add up all the sacks he has. But Tom Brady, if you come across the... Done. Play. Let's go to second down. I don't even care. We're going to second down. Oh, getting blitzed. Nope. Here's one for the cheerleader. He doesn't care. If you watched the game yesterday and you saw Joe Flacco, and I told you how strong his arm was, and they were rushing him. He got hit a couple of times. He's 36 years old. And what he would do for the most part is, whoo, I don't care. I'm just throwing this ball. I am not taking a hit that's going to hurt that bad. So that's how they're our offense. Tom Brady is a big guy. He's 6'4", about 220, 215. But I mean, Tua is supposedly 6'1", 215, 217. He's not. Your height isn't what makes you the man. Your girth and being able to, how strong you are. So obviously it's probably something in his neck girdle. If you believe what they said about Buffalo when they said he hurt his back, maybe there's something in his lower back. I don't know. I can't speculate. I'm not his doctor. Eugene Baptiste, hadn't seen you in a while, bud. Eugene says, I know you don't like to make crazy predictions, but what are we talking about, Barry? You think there's a chance of winning the bowl, making a Super Bowl again if we knock out the Bills? It's wide open. All right, good point. Let's segue into some football. I'll come back to his injury. So basically, right now, as things sit, let me get rid of the comments so people can see me and what I'm saying here. As we sit right now, it's at most a 4-game season. You got the wild card, you got the playoffs, you got the conference. The conference championships, and then you've got the Super Bowl. So, Dolphins have won 5 in a row this season. Cincinnati Bengals have won 8 in a row this season. Jackson Jaguars won a crap load of games in a row. What team right now is going to get hot and win 4 or 5 games in a row? That's what it breaks down to. Now, if you look at Miami, And I'm going to be calling this game number 3, the Thriller in Manila. And those of you old enough to know the Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, it was just, the saga was amazing. You know, they fought 3 times, and Ali won the 3rd one. They split the first 2. That's the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins. They split. They lost by 3 points the last game. So I want you to go do some more research and look at where the Bills, don't forget, push aside right now DeMar Hamlin's injury and look at what happened to the Bills before that and after that. So I'm going to tell you so you can go look it up yourself. They beat the Miami Dolphins by 3 points. 3 points, and basically had to pray that the Dolphins didn't come back on them. Played them pretty even, right? Right. Played them so well that Stephen A. Smith said, oh, these guys are scary. Yeah, they can play with anybody. Yeah, they proved they can play with anybody with Tua. Then the Cincinnati Bengals played the Buffalo Bills, and before Damar got hurt, don't let this go away. They're playing in Cincinnati. It was 7-3. And Cincinnati was driving for another touchdown. He had just completed the ball to T. Higgins for that pass. It could have been 14-3. They were driving, and they could have lost that game. Very well could have lost that game the way the Bengals were playing if you were watching it before the horrific injury. And then let's look at yesterday. Buffalo Bills had to win, basically, to decide if they're going to get into the AFC Championship with Kansas City, would be in a neutral site. So they had incentive to win, and they basically got beat by the New England Patriots. Except the New England Patriots went to sleep on special teams. Score was 35-23. They ran back 2 kickoffs. 2. New England gave them 14 points. Here you go. Here's 14 points. Those 14 points, take those off the board, and now you're looking at the Patriots winning that game. They spotted them 14 points. So the Bills, to me, are beatable. The Bills, if you look at the 32-29 game that Dolphins got beat with, they got beat because of Josh Allen. Josh Allen was the leading passer, obviously, and he was a leading rusher. Josh Allen blew the game apart just by himself, basically. So can the Dolphins win this weekend? With Tua, yes. Without Tua, it's going to be very, 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 very tough. With Tua, yeah, I think they can win. What I would do in this game is make sure somebody is spying Josh Allen. Do not let this guy run. And then, hope for the best with the coverages and the defensive backs. But definitely can win. Now, here's something else. And I want to bring this up because a lot of people may be overlooking this. Like, very well, if Tua comes back and he's cleared on Wednesday or Thursday, he's only going to have 1 or 2 days to practice. Grasshopper. Grasshopper, let me tell you something. You don't think that every member of the Buffalo Bills and every member of the Miami Dolphins and every coach with the Buffalo Bills and every coach with the Miami Dolphins doesn't know intimately everything about the other team? They've already played twice. This is the Thriller in Manila. They've played twice. They've battled both games down to basically the last second. There is no unknown territory with these two teams. I may be a little rusty if I'm Tua. I may not, be completely crisp, but he's not going to miss any planning. They've got plenty of game planning down against the Buffalo Bills. God, you guys have watched 2 games, full games. You know right now what the Buffalo Bills do. There's no secrets right now. So, yeah, he could step in if he gets cleared and play and not miss much of a beat. Remember that. Most of the time, players are doing is sitting back and watching film. Rewind, fast forward. Rewind, fast forward. Oh, he tied his shoe and then he went left. Literally looking for even the most nano of indication. Rewind. And at this point with the Buffalo Bills, you don't have to do that much. You already know what these guys are all about. Maybe the one thing I'd want to check out is what's up with Cole Beasley. he stepped in, didn't really know everything. Now he's playing again. I want to know who took DeMar Hamlin's place. Because maybe, this guy who stepped in, this other defensive back who had to step in for DeMar, what's he all about? Anybody got film on him? Let me look up his film. But other than that, even what the Buffalo Bills are going to do. It's no secret. So don't worry about him being ready. Just let's get ready. So the further on the question, the rest of the teams, I don't think there's a team on that list of people in the playoffs that the Dolphins can't beat. Kansas City will be extremely tough. If we get that far, Mahomes is going to run around back there. He could find some people, but he sometimes makes mistakes as well. Justin Herbert, Chargers, if they get there, there's all kinds of things that are happening. So, as Mike McDaniel would said, don't look beyond Sunday. But Sunday, if you look at that and dissect it, we've got all the information for it. We've got the information for it. Marcus Sparks says, stop Diggs and Josh Allen, and we win. Especially seeing what Garrett Wilson did with Joe Flacco yesterday. I mean, it didn't look like Joe Flacco had anybody else to throw to. He locked in on Garrett Wilson, and we couldn't cover. That's scary because, Garrett Wilson's a rookie. Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen have been playing a while, and we couldn't stop him. I think he had like 10 catches for like 100+ yards. Yeah, John, John, I got to send you an email. Before the Bills pulled away. Well, they didn't really, like I said, take those 14 points off, and there's not really pulling away. And then, of course, they're playing against Mac Jones, who he's Mac Jones. Pablo, who's going to cover X? That's what they better be worried about. That's right now. Josh Boyer better be sitting back and going, oh man, it's going to be clear, no snow. It's fast, cold, maybe it's be a little windy. What are we going to do about Stephon Diggs? X-Man, you look like shit against Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson just toasted you. That's scary. That's something where we all can go, oh boy, oh shit. Garrett Wilson was just lighting these guys up. And of course, then Josh Allen has now integrated that new big tight end. I think his name is Knox. That big tight end has been playing well. So I'm not really worried about the running game. We've seen Cedric Wilson and the boys up front just stop the run. But Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen could have a holiday out there if we're not careful. The offensive line needs some Cuban coffee to wake up and block. The blocking yesterday was terrible. Now notice, Teron Armstead did not play. Lamb did not play. And Eichenberg starts blocking dead people. He's a ghost. I don't know. He keeps missing people. Is it a coincidence that Teron doesn't play when Tua doesn't play? Or, is it just me? But that's very weird. John says X looked good at the end of the game. Yeah, he did. Maybe Byron Fuller will show up. We got to do something. Definitely got to do something. So let me get back a little bit. Some people are so stupid they just don't understand it. I think you're talking about the concussion stuff, and we're going to get back to that right now. I think the peer pressure, maybe some women who have the maternal instinct and some men who have the paternal instinct, and they're thinking about, what if it was my son? What if it was my, blah, blah, blah. But then you're saying you're not trusting your son, and you're not trusting his doctors. We all go to the doctor, and we're basically saying, fix it. This is broken. Can you fix it? And the doctor's going to advise us, and either it works or we get a second opinion. So Tua's been all over the place with second, third, fourth, fifth opinions. He's got the best medical experts working with him. If you can't believe that, if you can't believe that Tua has the best medical advice known to man right now, other than maybe DeMar, which is just phenomenal, then there's nothing I can say to you. It's your paranoia. I don't, there's no analogy I can give other than the fact you're not accepting. You don't believe anything, and all you see is he hurt his hands and his fingers locked up like he was one of the Crip gangsters, and you saw this, and you're like, oh, he's brain damaged. He's brain damaged. When the doctor said, okay, we're going to move forward. We're going to put you in this protocol, and believe me, this. The protocol that the NFL has as their measurement isn't the same protocol your doctors have. You understand it, right? Your doctor who knows you, who has your medical chart, understands what your body is, your blood work, everything. Their guideline is, hey, you need to do this, this, and this. My guideline, I'm your doctor. I don't give a shit about the NFL. I'm your doctor. I'm going to tell you where you can and can't go. Everybody is missing that. They think that the NFL is driving this train, and that's not true. His doctors are driving the train. When the doctors submit their clearance, the NFL will look it over and everything. But right now, the NFL ain't got shit to do with this. Right now, his doctors are saying, Tua, I think you should stay home. The light's too much for you. I want you to stay back at the house, shut the curtains, play with the baby. Don't think about football. Okay. And you listen to them. Hey, I think you've progressed to the point now where you can get out and walk around the neighborhood and push the, baby carriage, whatever. Okay. Hey, I think you've progressed to the point now where you need to get on a treadmill and start, working that heart back. Get that going again. Okay. NFL's not saying any of that. NFL just says, do you meet these protocols? Has anyone not thought how you get to those protocols? Does nobody understand that these 5 things, where are they? Let me pull that back up. All right. Does nobody understand that these protocols here, those are your measuring stick? It's sort of like training for a race, and you have to hit a split of 50 seconds or a 4-minute mile, or you've got to bench press 300 pounds. Well, in order to play or in order to win, you need to run a 4.5 minute mile. The guy with the clock is just saying, nope, you failed. He's not there training you and having you doing all kinds of interval work and hills and everything else. You just show up to him and say, I'm ready to get timed for the mile. All right. 4:32, you didn't make it. That's what the NFL protocol is. I don't know if anyone has ever broken it down to you like that. You're over here, I'm on the treadmill, I'm pumping some iron, I'm eating right. All right, let me see if I can do this. And then your doctor says, all right, we'll submit you for number 3. Big difference there. And I think most people miss it. I think they think the NFL sitting there, nope, you're only a 1. Nope, you're only a 2. How do you think you get to number 2, number 3, and number 4? You don't just sit there and go, it's been about 15 days. I think I can be at stage 3. No, that's not how it works. Somebody else is running your regiment. Someone else, I don't know if it's Nick Hicks or who, whatever. Somebody else is training you and saying you need to do this before I even submit your paperwork. You need to show me that you can follow this before I even submit your paperwork. How many fingers do I got? NFL's not doing it. His doctors are doing it. You understand that difference? I hope that made sense. I can time you in the 4-minute mile or 5-minute mile as the standard, but you got to go train and get ready to run a 4.5-minute mile. You got to go back to the gym and pump some iron to be able to bench press 300 pounds. I'm just there to see if you can do it. See, my qualifications are you need to do this, this, and this before I can let you play. You think he's just going to show up and say, okay, I'm all better? No, you gotta work at it at home. You got to work at it in the training room. You need to do all this to get to the test. I can use a bunch of analogies. You can't walk in and just take the SATs cold. I may be dating myself because back in the day when you had to take the SATs, you did all kinds of crash courses. You had to get ready. You had to get your mind ready. You had to do your algebra and you had to do your English. And then you showed up on the test to see if you're any good, if you get to move to the next level called college. You just don't show up and take the test and hope for the best. Maybe some people did. I don't know. My mom would have kicked my ass. See what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to bring it all full circle for even the biggest doubters out there so you guys understand how this all works. I spent, an hour here trying to show you and give you the information that I don't think a lot of people are giving you. Now it's up to you to digest it and understand and go forth and prosper and tell other people, hey, did you know that Tua has to do some training and that those protocol steps are just benchmarks? No, I didn't even think about that, Charlie. Yeah, I found out that, you got to go ahead and do all your training to determine, if you qualify for the next step. Well, Fred, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for telling me that. I didn't realize it. That just explains what's going on with Dolphins fans. They don't understand that. So, real quick before we close, I'm going to go through a couple things here. And this is from Tyler Dunn. It said, on ESPN just now, Adam Schefter said he thinks Miami's hoping Tua will be able to start Sunday against the Bills. They want to see how he progresses this week. Barry Jackson, the aforementioned Barry Jackson says, after 15 days, it sounds like Tua is in stage 2 or 3 of 5-stage concussion protocol. Where did he get that from? He asked those questions. He asked those leading questions to determine, hey, he's probably in 2 or 3. How does he know that he's in 2 or 3? Well, he knows because he read the protocol. I've had some guy on Twitter giving me all kinds of problems and telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, it's printed. Go look it up. And now you have even more information. So Barry says that. It sounds like McDaniel said he's not sure what stage 2 is in, but has observed Tua perspiring. That was him when he answered those questions. And so he's telling you, I can't tell you what he's at. And his first sound, it sounds like he's 2 or 3. Well, Barry Jackson, why would you say it sounds like Tua is in 2 or 3? Oh, that's because I've read the friggin' protocol. And I'm not listening to idiots on Twitter. I know that, boom, there it is, aerobic exercise is 2. And he's sweating. So unless he's about to have a heart attack, God forbid, he's doing aerobic exercise. You got that? All right. So then he says later on, in spite of this, Tua could still play if he's cleared for stage 4 protocol tomorrow or Wednesday. So that's what I was saying earlier. The progression can be very quick because 5 doesn't count. There's nothing to do. It's a sign-off. That's a signature. You're not going to do, there's nothing for you to do there. So we need him to get to 3 and 4 and get over those hurdles. And at that point, it's for foregone conclusion. And then he moves to stage 5 by Friday. Saturday, McDaniel suggests he'll have game plans for all 3 quarterbacks. Why would you be game planning for all 3 quarterbacks if you're not allowed to talk football and it doesn't cross your mind? And it's, I don't even think about it right now. He just lied. You're watching a dance out here. Okay, just look what it says. McDaniel suggested he'll have game plans in place for all 3 quarterbacks. If Tua had no chance of playing, why would you do that? You see how I tried to show you this information? And then lastly, as long as he gets to stage 4 of the concussion protocol by midweek and gets to 5 by later in the week, meaning full practices, Tua will be starting Sunday can certainly happen. As Jay Glazer has said from Fox Sports, a playoff game has been Tua's target. McDaniel speaking around 4:30, and that's when he gave all the other information. So when we meet again tomorrow, like Mike said, hey, it's Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll have more clarity. I'll understand what's going on. You'll have more clarity. That's what this is all about. And I'm going to try my best to usher you guys through the entire concussion protocol here so you can understand better and see actual information. I bet a bunch of you guys watched the press conference. I saw some of the names I normally see in here, and I wonder if you picked up on those things. That Barry Jackson was basically leading Mike McDaniel. He's throwing breadcrumbs. He's doing a Hansel and Gretel, and he's like, so is he cleared for contact? Nope, not cleared for contact. Is he cleared for non-contact? Nope, not cleared for non-contact. Is he cleared for aerobic activity? I can't tell you, but he's sweating a lot. What? I can't tell you. I can't tell you what Tua's doing, but I see him walking through the halls, and he's looking really sweaty. You guys understand? I'm making fun of it because it's hilarious to me that people aren't following it through. Robert Thomas, no problem. I get so much haterade, people throwing at me, and I'm like, how can you argue with fact? How can you, even when I made the other video, I'm like, how can you argue? It's right there. You heard the guy speak, but they don't want to hear it. Hey, Tom, thank you for the kind words. You're confusing the Twittiest with fact. That's all it is. I tell you right now, over the last 2 years, we've been told what to do, when to do it, how you're going to do it. Don't ask any questions. And if you do ask any questions, we're going to come after you. And it's a strange world we live in right now. It's getting stranger by the day. And I sit back and look at some of these comments. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? What? How come you can't use your cerebellum and put 2 and 2 together and just see where things are and understand all of the stuff I said tonight? Why don't you understand that? And I understand you don't have a football mind. That's no problem. But unless Mike McDaniel is a stone cold liar, and even then, for you to call him a stone cold liar, you'd have to have some substantiation that he's stone cold lying. But yeah, nobody says it. Let's go to if Tua doesn't play this week, the concussion must be so bad he might as well retire. If he doesn't clear the stages, that means once they got him, so right now we can feel confident he's in the aerobic stage, right? So let me just go back to it real quick here, just as we part, just so you guys can follow along yourself. Right now, he is in the aerobic exercise stage. We all have to believe it. Like I said, making fun. Oh, he's sweating. He's down the hall sweating. So if he's down the hall sweating to the oldies, doing the jazzercise. Oops, I knocked over the box. He's doing the jazzercise, and he's got sweating to the oldies with, what's his name? Richard Simmons or whatever. He's doing his aerobic exercise. There's no debate here, okay? The next thing he has to do in the third stage, players can take part in football-specific exercises and start working with the team for up to 30 minutes under supervision. So, girls and boys, your homework tonight to determine if Tua gets to step 3. What do you have to do? Come on, show me in the comments. What is all you Tua sleuths out there? What's going to make you understand he's in stage 3? Right? Just showed you. Yep. Stage 3 means retirement. Yeah. Eugene, don't give them any. They can't. They're forever lost. So basically, at this point, what you have to look for is stage 3. And you're going to know stage 3 because it's called a football-specific exercise. In the third stage, players can take part in football-specific exercises. So, if you see Tua in the red jersey out there doing calisthenics and his funky dance that he likes to do, I don't know if that's a football activity. Maybe for him that's a football activity. Or he's throwing to dummies and he's taking snaps. He's doing this kind of stuff. and he's only out there for 30 minutes, and he calls, they say, get off the field. Then you know he's in stage 3. So look for pictures and images tomorrow where you see, maybe Wednesday. That's the clarity Mike McDaniel was saying. If you see him Wednesday out there throwing, you know he's in stage 3. You follow that? You're going to know he's in stage 3. So everybody here tonight looking, watching, you'll know where Tua is on that protocol on Wednesday when practice begins. If he's limited and he's out there for 30 minutes throwing a ball in the red jersey, he's at stage 3. No doubt. There is no other way. I've tried to break it down as simple as possible. You will not see Tua on the field if he's not at stage 3. Stage 2, he's sweating to the oldies. Stage 3, it's a football-specific exercise where he can get out there, run around, jog, be out there with his boys for 30 minutes. That's what we're going to look for on Wednesday. Probably won't see it tomorrow. On Wednesday, we're going to see if he comes out the doors in the red jersey, ready to play some light throwing, running, jumping over, tackling dummies, whatever, doing his little funky dance that he does. That's your next indicator. Everybody put that on a Post-it note. Grab a Post-it note from wherever you got one. I got mine here. Grab a Post-it note. Red jersey, throwing the ball. That's your stage 3. Hit stage 3 on Wednesday. It's likely he could be cleared on Friday. So that's it. That's what I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got through and got some serious clarity so far as to where things are. I'm going to listen tomorrow and see what happens. And if I see something that's indicative, I'll go ahead and go live again tomorrow evening. I want to keep you guys abreast of what's going on both teams. Let's see if anything happens with the Buffalo Bills. Let's hope he gets to stage 4 in the next couple days. If he does, he's on it. If he doesn't, he's not going to play, and we're going to have Skyler and Teddy. But as long as Mike McDaniel said he's planning for all 3 quarterbacks, that tells me right there, from a guy who has completely been 3 blind mice for the last week or so, hey, I got nothing to say about Tua. I have no idea. But today you're planning for all 3 quarterbacks. That's all I need to hear. There's a chance. It's a Costanza thing. So you mean there's a chance? There's a chance. That's all we got for tonight. There's a chance. Do with that with what you want. Have a great Monday evening. I'm going to watch the NCAA championship. I don't really have a dog. Don't have a dog in that fight with the dogs and the Horned Frogs. Actually, I'd probably like to see TCU upset Georgia. But let me know who you guys want. Talk to you guys tomorrow if we got some news to go with. Hope you enjoyed this and hope you got some edification on it.